Good evening, and welcome to Montel's podcast. So previously, I was talking about this thing about Alexa and having her remind a person of their self-worth, and I got cut off, but it was a delightful interruption of that podcast, so I'm cool with that. So basically what I was getting to with that whole thing, it was a self-esteem thing, like a internal motivator, that type of thing. So I guess in order to segue into the same subject, but in a different fashion, I'll start with this one tonight. All right. So let's talk about ways to build up your self-esteem, because I think that's very important when it comes to people, especially now in this day and age, because it's crazy, So we're gonna go with an article that I read by Miss Camille Cava. CamilleCava, and I thought it was pretty profound, pretty cool. So we're going to just go ahead and jump right into it. So it starts: retouched images and photographs are driving our culture to embrace unrealistic standards of beauty. Fact. As a result, people of all ages are left to struggle with their self-images. Huge deal nowadays, right? However, the focus should be on creating an overall positive image for oneself, rather than trying to alter our outer appearances. And it affects inner as well, right? We'll continue to get into that. So self-esteem is the manifestation of how we see ourselves, but many outside influences shape it. It's time to take back control and realize your individual self-worth. Huge deal to know and realize and identify with and envelop yourself in the actual individual worth of you. Although some of the following suggestions may seem silly, they will put smiles on your faces, which will ultimately turn into positive ways of thinking and lead to a more permanent, optimistic view of the self. It should have said yourself, but it said the self. Okay. Everyone has the ability to possess confidence, and everyone should learn how to successfully find it and own it. All right? So when it comes to the whole mode and thought process of building up your self-esteem. So let's go into reinventing the meaning, right? So when people think of self-esteem, appearance is the first thing that comes to mind. More often than not all the time, because to me, self-esteem, appearance means nothing to me. Although many people's self-esteem does depend upon their looks, it shouldn't. Of course, if you're not happy with yourself, you should do something to change it. That's both physically and mentally, in my opinion, right? But before you enroll in that 12-week intensive gym program and spend your savings on supplements you can't pronounce, look at what really needs to change. Self-esteem should not be solely associated with a person's appearance. Self-esteem should not... Okay, so now I've gotten into this whole thing to where I repeat things over and over, and I'll pause for dramatic effect when it comes to making statements. But I think that's pivotal in a thought process when it comes to anybody. That you should think about something intently and with purpose. So that's why I'm going to be doing that like more often whenever I get more of these podcasts out there. And then, I want to go ahead and apologize again because I'm outside just chilling. I enjoyed the sunset, what I could, because it was partly cloudy. But then also my neighbor's dogs, they're little chihuahuas and I think a Pekingese and something else. But they're going to continue to just yap as I go. So I apologize for that. But hopefully it doesn't take away from your experience, okay? So again, self-esteem should not be solely associated with a person's appearance. How do you feel about your intelligence? How do you feel about your actions and morals? Confidence is the root of a person's entirety, and it comes from within. You can't get that from anybody else. Now, you can learn like depictions and behaviors of what you should do to gain confidence from other people. Yes, true, I get that. But when it comes to its totality, confidence comes from within. Definitely, I definitely agree with that. So how are we building this self-esteem? How do we build this self-esteem, right? Create goals, all right? I think that's a great thing. Working towards something that you value is a great way to build confidence. The best part about this is that it can be anything. It can be a hobby about which you're passionate about, or something that you never dreamed of doing, like we call a bucket list. That's a great way to look at it. Whether it's being able to do a push-up, learning how to play an instrument, or saving up your money to buy something special. You're accomplishing something and you're reaching a goal, right? End state thought. Not only should you be proud of completing the goal, but you should also acknowledge the small steps you're taking toward the goal as well. It helps if you plan out these little steps, almost like a checklist, again, bucket list, all right? And you do little stepping stones toward that. This technique works because it always allows you to physically measure your progress along the way. Most importantly, the goal should be solely about you. Okay? Again, most importantly, the goal should be solely about you. And I think getting into that and kind of getting into the weeds of that, when it comes to your personal goals, the important thing about that being that it's solely about you is that people that give their outside looking in opinions, that's great, and because constructive criticism is awesome. But when it comes to people that try to berate you, belittle you, and make you feel small for trying to attain such a lofty goal, don't even listen to them. Don't listen to that. Like, their opinion shouldn't matter at that point. If you feel like it's something that they're saying that gives you a negative vibe, you can tell them, I appreciate your view or your standpoint or your opinion or whatever, but just move forward, continue to move forward, right? So just, keep busy and focusing your energy, right? Because that's going to help you to ward off negative thoughts and bring in the positive ones, the positive vibes, surround yourself with good people. The people who surround you might be influencing your negative thoughts and low self-esteem. Analyze your close circle of friends and family and ask yourself, are these people good for you? Ask yourself that question. Take a personal inventory and look at the people I do that all the time. Look at the people that's in your circle. Are these people, are they good for you? Are they healthy? And when I say healthy, are they healthy when it comes to your mental and emotional well-being? Because if they're not, you got to find a way to excommunicate them, right? So think about it. Friends who compliment and motivate each other, they have much healthier relationships than those that insult each other. Even if it's only a joke, you know what I mean? You can be joking around, but if a person that claims to be your friend jokes in a way that they know is going to make you feel berated and belittled, they shouldn't be doing that anyway, Joining groups also helps to create a comfortable and friendly environment, right? People who gather together for one common interest can create an empowering atmosphere. That is absolutely true. I do a lot of volunteering, and I can tell you that is absolutely true. Working with others that have that like mind, you're striving for the exact same goal and the exact same, well, not necessarily the exact same goal, but the same goal and the same positive end state. Those people, they're invaluable in your life. And you should always have people like that in your circle. And I'll actually do something on the back end as a thought to that as well. Love yourself. This is much easier said than done. However, do not underestimate the power of the thought. That's something that's very pivotal, right? Because everything that we do starts with one thought. So the next time that you look in the mirror, really look at yourself. Say one compliment out loud before finding a flaw, right? Because so many times, more often than not,